Hi, this is Phil Simon with the Huffington Post, and I am very pleased today to be joined by Emmy Award-winning actor Johnathan Banks. Johnathan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Phil, and you?
No complaints, man.
All right, and let me tell you, Phil, before we go any further, though, he's been nominated for the Emmy. He's never won the Emmy yet. You just said Emmy Award winner, I think, instead of nominated.
You didn't hear yet? I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, congrats on the recent Emmy nomination, and I was wondering if it meant anything different to you this time than the one that you received from Wise Guy.
You know, I just think in general, without being really trite, but as you get older, I think you have more appreciation for a lot of things, and I certainly have an appreciation for the Emmy nomination.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Breaking Bad. I've listened to and watched many interviews on the show. It's my favorite show, and it seems to me that the actors, writers, producers, and really the entire staff were exceptionally well prepared even before coming to work. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is that a common occurrence?
I think Breaking Bad, for the most part, is above and beyond what you see most of the time. You know, there is such a work ethic and such a preparation that, you know, it's not a competition, but lo and behold to any of us that we don't want to show up unprepared. You know, we want our lines down. You can't be prepared enough. As far from the actors, I guarantee you that's what that is. And they couldn't, you know, and they couldn't be nicer. I know you've heard that 100 times already, but you know, what a great group of actors to work with. It was fun to go to work.
Mm. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I really like about the show is that it intentionally does not explain everything. For instance, your character history, in particular with regard to Philadelphia, was really never fully clarified. And I was wondering if you happen to make up your own backstory for Mike, or if that's something you ever discussed with Vince Gilligan.
Yeah, well, I did a lot. Well, not a lot, but, you know, when Vince and I would say, you know, I'll give you an example that when I drop my daughter off before I shoot the guys in the warehouse, and I only give her so many balloons, and I said to her, Vince, I said, and it was a direct episode that he directed, I said, that may be my granddaughter, but that is not my daughter. And I had my backstory that I'm still working on, quite honestly. You know, I'm still in my mind what happened to Mike's son, why has Mike lost his soul? What led Mike down this path that he knows? He knows that he's lost his soul, and he knows that he lost it a long time ago. And I still wonder, I'm still building my backstory as to why that happened.
It almost reminds me of with Walt and Gray Matter. They never completely explain why Walt left the company. Although they sort of hint that it had something to do with Walt and Gretchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I appreciate you saying, you know, that's something that you like where they leave the imagination open. It can also, and I'm only speaking for myself, for my character, you know, I liked Mike so much that as an actor, I wanted to know more about Mike. I wanted to know more about Mike. Just to play him. I'm saying as an actor, to play him. And that's, you know, and that's not, I'm not faulting the writers at all. I'm saying that in my homework of what I do, I still had my own homework to establish who Mike was.
There definitely seems to be throughout the show sort of a less is more type mentality. In fact, your character, I think, gives maybe 2 or 3 equivalents of monologues. One is, of course, half measures, and then when you go off on Walt right before your character perishes, all of this is on you. But I find that you had an economy of words with the character. Was that something that was written in, or when Vince was writing it, did he think, here's a guy who can say a lot by saying very little?
You'd have to ask Vince that question, but I can tell you from my part of it, Again, a part of age, less, and then a little less.
Great. Now, did you have a particularly favorite scene from your 4 seasons on the show?
Oh, the half-measure speech is just such a great speech, but I also, any time that Aaron and I were together, especially out in that desert in that car, I don't know that they were my favorite scenes, but we just laughed and giggled and I tried to scare him as much as I could with my driving, and, we had a good time.
Yeah, I was just watching that the other day. They're doing the season 4 replay on AMC. Last question for you, Johnathan. What do you have planned for the rest of 2013 and beyond? Can we expect to see you again on Modern Family?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just did a movie with Danny Trejo, and Danny plays the good guy, and I play the bad guy, and good obviously being a relative term. Somebody gets killed every 5 feet, and Danny was fun to work with. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I did a pilot for NBC that they did not pick up. And, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Obviously, it's very, very hard to duplicate Breaking Bad or to rise to that standard. And that may be a standard that won't be achieved again. Maybe. I hope it is. And I'm talking about my career. But I had such a good time. I am going to try to choose things if I am able to do that are quality, whatever that means. I hope that doesn't sound pretentious, but I want it to be good.
Yeah, they set the bar high, but hey, Johnathan, it's been great speaking with you for Huffington Post, and best of luck with everything.
Phil, thank you very much.